Hey everybody, we're still here in ice fishing season. Hot Bites Fishing Report, 4 great locations, 3 of them on the ice, 1 of them on the water. Bay De Noc in the UP, Long Lake up in the Traverse City region, Hamlin Lake right here in Ludington, and Saginaw River all still going good. Stay tuned. So we're going to start out in the central Upper Peninsula this week with a really good report. Our buddy Ryan Herenstein from RTH Fishing has been whacking the walleyes all season long on the ice at Bay De Noc. How's he doing it? Well, right now, late season, you're going to find the fish on the tops of major reefs like Center and Third Reef. You're also going to find them starting to scatter out on the flats a little bit in that deeper, I'm going to say 26 to 32 feet of water, anywhere on either side of the Gladstone Narrows. So one of the biggest things I'm going to quick say to you is it is open water on the Great Lakes, so you got to be careful for currents. Don't get crazy out there. When the season's done, it's done. Don't push it. But right now they're catching them on 7 to 9 wraps, jigging wraps, ice fishing baits, tipped with a minnow head on the bottom treble. Just a slow lift and fall, pounding the bottom. Make sure you're pounding the bottom almost every down because that's what's drawing those fish in. So on the mud flaps, they're also catching some really nice perch. Now those perch are more in the upper bay, so they're going to be between, I'm going to say Center Reef and the Vagabond Campground. There's that deep slot of mud there in that deeper water. So that's what we're going to be looking for perch. Now we're going to be dead sticking perch, or we're going to be small minnow tip-up fishing for those perch. But whatever you do, if you're up in that Upper Peninsula region, or you're looking for a place to go and have a chance at a trophy walleye, right now, Little Bay De Noc, Upper Peninsula, it's happening. If you're looking for a great outing for a guide to get you out on the ice, contact Ryan. He's running ice houses right there on Little Bay De Noc right up until the end of safe ice. So always check in with us at our fishing report at fishermansdigest.com or give Ryan a call.
Hey, Jeff Miller here today with Traxstech, just going over some of our new for 2020 electronics mounting applications. We've had our standard single pivot and double pivot mounting applications out now for a couple years, where we can turn and adjust these. We can adjust our electronics mounts into different positions that we want, single pivots or double pivots, depends on how our dashes are laid out and what we need. We've had a lot of guys ask us on some of our bigger boats that they don't need all that, just to get us a real nice low profile, solid mounting application, or they're going to go into the track down on the gunwale wall and actually start putting their units, especially if they're running these bigger ones that are nice and heavy duty. So today I want to show you 2 different versions. This is our small one, our plate on top that we do standard with all of our electronics, mainly up to about 10-inch units. And we just put this onto our lift and turn base with our top plate on there, so slides into the track, locks down. Again, this same mount can be used on our rail clamps, our T-bolt applications, our Alumacraft brackets, and our track mounts. Anything we want to do to this to be able to mount onto there. And then this version here is exactly the same way. We just have a bigger plate for being able to support our 12-inch, 16-inch, 15-inch graphs, anything like that out there. So just gives you some feedback on what's available for you. Hopefully we can help solve some of the issues out there if you've got a problem with mounting electronics, or just want it to be a little bit more maneuverability for you. So check us out on the website at traxtech.com.
So the bite up in the Traverse City region continues to be really good. Long Lake has been a consistent walleye producer all season long. It's been roughly the same type of a bite. We talked to you about a month ago about this, but that bite still seems to be holding on pretty strong. It's 18 to 24 feet. It's tip-ups out right off the sharp breaks, just out into the, if you're on the bottom of the roll, you're going to be just out as it breaks away. If you're in the top of the roll, same thing. You're going to stay close to that top of the roll. Don't get too far away from that sharp break area. Seems like the fish are working on the top or bottom of the roll, 18 to 24 feet. On tip-ups, medium-sized goldens or blues. If you're going to do jigging or dead sticking, I would suggest stay with medium to smaller size minnows. We are getting to that time of the year where the fish are going to start to get really active pre-spawn under the ice, and so they're going to be really cruising a lot more than in the dead of the winter. They're sensing this warm weather, cold weather battle going on right now here in late February, and we're looking at 3-4 days of some really good solid cold weather, so it should really firm the ice up and make it good for a good another week past the end of the cold weather. But these fish are already sensing warm weather. They're starting to sense that temperature and barometric pressure changes that occurs when you get these big swings in temperature, and that's going to trigger them to start coming in and setting up on breaks and main breaks pre-spawn. So get up to the Traverse City region, experience some really awesome walleye fishing right now on Long Lake. Hey, if you're in the Traverse City region, we do have a partner up there, Traverse Bay Tackle. He's got all of the baits and all of the information that you need, so check in and stop at Traverse Bay Tackle right there in Grawn for all of your tackle needs when you're up in that Traverse City region. Hey, are you in the market for a small outdoor shed, carport, or small storage building? Visit my friends up at Midwest Steel Carports. They'll travel anywhere in the Lower Peninsula to install your shed or carport for you. Visit them online at MidwestSteelCarports.com. So today's report, we're here live at Captain Chuck's here in Ludington, Michigan. We're going to talk to you about Hamlin Lake and the upcoming next couple weeks of ice fishing season. This time of year is always exciting in the Ludington region because late ice on Hamlin can be some of the best crappie fishing and also bluegill fishing that goes around this time of the year. So always, again, call Captain Chuck's, talk to Randy, talk to the guys there to get a safe ice report, because there will be a point in time in a couple of weeks where you're going to want to check literally on a daily basis for your safety. But right now with the cold weather coming, you got a solid week or two to get out on the ice and experience this. So what are they doing? They're crappie fishing under the ice for crappie that are moving around. Now, it's going to be important to have your electronics with you when you crappie fish, because these fish will suspend at different levels and they'll move throughout the day. So you're going to have to move your baits with them to be able to really maximize the catch. Now, Scott and the guys here at Captain Chuck's got all the baits you need, all of the right equipment. They've still got all their ice fishing stuff up on the shelves to help you with jigs and with waxies and all the little items that you're going to want to have, as well as that inside information you always get when you're here at Captain Chuck's. So, suspended crappies, how are they doing it? Slip bobber seems to be the best way to do it, or, I mean, I do hear of people doing just really slow jigging, but you really got to be able to find that jig when you're lowering it down to the right depth. So again, a good Vexilar, a Markham, whatever you use, having that with you will maximize crappie fishing. Bluegills are the same way late in the year. They're gonna come sliding in. They're gonna set up just close to where those weeds were at the end of the season last year, and they're gonna start milling around those breaks. So pay attention to details. You know, I wouldn't suggest necessarily pack fishing, but pay attention to the other ice fishermen out there and see what type of structure they're setting up on. That can be a good tip if you're coming from out of area and you want to know a good starting point or good starting depth. You can go to school on some of the other anglers and then just slide down the shoreline, give everybody some room. There's lots of fish in Hamlin and the fish do move. But right now is go time here in the Ludington region. Stop by Captain Chuck's, get a safe ice report, get out there on the water. And if you're looking for other options here, there's going to be the Pere Marquette Lake and Pere Marquette River. For the next month, this is going to be go time for that river system as well. Steelhead are going to be all over the place. It's going to be an awesome fishery. Right now, Ludington, Michigan is probably one of your best bets. So get up here to Ludington and experience this great fishing that we've got here on the western central side of the state of Michigan.
You know, today's anglers need a ton of battery power to run all the accessories we're running, big electronics, 36-volt trolling motors, and crank up our big engines. I'm Captain Lance Valentine. Let me show you the battery storage in my Polar Kraft Kodiak. In the back, the stern of the boat, we've got a place for 2 batteries, for an accessory battery and a cranking battery, plus an oil tank or a fuel water separator. And underneath the rod locker, we have a spot to put 3 31 series batteries to run our 36-volt trolling motor. Don't be caught short of power. Check out these features and everything else the Polar Kraft product has to offer at your local Polar Kraft dealer.
You know, this has been about the craziest year a lot of guys who've lived in Michigan like me for over 50 years have ever seen. The fact that you can open water troll all the way through the winter if you can bust your way out of some skim ice here and there at the boat launches there in the Saginaw region of the Saginaw River and the bay. Now, the bay might lock up a little bit here with this impending cold weather we're going to be getting into here for the next 4 or 5 days, so that might be off limits, and you're also going to have to battle some skim ice at the launches there on the Saginaw River. But if you can get out on the river, and a lot of guys have consistently been getting out on the river, it has been stupid good fishing right now. Now the bite is super simple, so here you go. You're jigging. Now when I jig a river, I'm always using a little bit shorter rod for control. 5/6 to 6 foot, no more than 6 foot. I don't like that long rod. Use a heavier medium to medium action, medium with a little, not too quick of a tip, because remember, when you're river fishing, you might bulk up all the way to a 1/2 ounce jig. So that rod's got to be able to handle that weight and yet still give you control. So I do a medium heavy action rod, 6 foot long, spool it with a thin braid or fire line, like a 6-pound test diameter, so that you get very little water drag. Water drag is not your friend when it comes to jigging in the river. You don't want any line blowout at all. So bulk up 3/8 to a 1/2 ounce jig. A Fat Boy jig works great. Tip it with a lure lipstick plastic. Now we've been going to be working with lure lipstick all this year to bring you their best colors. They've got a whole new line of custom colors. They've got new products coming out as well. But I'm always pasting my jigs and plastics with the lure lipstick scents, whether it's the shad or the bait fish scent. That's going to help put a lot more fish in the boat. And lure lipstick is awesome in super cold weather. It helps concentrate the fish and the scent around your bait. It gets a lot more strikes when you're using it. So grab a little stick of lure lipstick, keep it in your pocket with you at all times. You know, after 10-15 minutes in the water, a little swipe on each side will help pick up the action again. But they've got lots of custom colors. Now blues and darker color blacks seem to be really good, or dark colors like a deep navy blue, maybe a little bit of a gold fleck to it, or a purple with a little bit of a black fleck to it. Those darker colors show up really well in dark or stained water. Believe it or not, that's the best contrast when you're in dirty water, is darker colors. So go ahead and go contrast with maybe a white jig head or an orange jig head, and then a dark profiled bait, little lure lipstick, slow presentation, meaning not ripping the thing. You want to lift 1, 2, 3 inches maximum. Work in the main river channels and work in the breaks around, current breaks around the bridge pilings and abutments. Wherever you get a major bridge there on Saginaw, you're going to have a lot of walleye stacked up on the face or the backside of that big jut out there, that where you get a natural current push and then slack water behind it. So work those main channels, work those bridges, work it with plastics and a little bit heavier jig than you might think. Stay vertical, and you should have lots of fun there in the Saginaw region. Hey, thanks for joining us here today on the Hot Bites Fishing Report. We've got lots of stuff reporting here in the future. The rivers are going to be exploding. We're going to have beach trolling up and down the shores on both sides of the state. We're going to be visiting from different bait stores, introducing you to great spots that you can come, get your information, little bait and tackle, and head out into their regions and catch some fish all around the state of Michigan. Thanks for joining us here today from Captain Chuck's up in Ludington. Come on up to the Hamlin Lake Fishery. It's hot, hot, hot right now. Pierre Marquette is right there with it. We're going to be up in Manistee next week talking to you about that fishery. So stay tuned and check in, as always, at fishermansdigest.com.